So I think everybody here is interested in a very fancy and hot topic. I would say probably is hype. It's big data. Everybody know about big data, right? It's like a gold mine. And that's why I choose the title of the golden opportunity. But is the big data really the goal, or just something like a bubble in the 1990s, those .com? So I think I would like to give you some different perspective from the geographical information scientist perspective to see what can we do utilizing the big data and what is the challenge in this research area. So as the Professor Sang mentioned, I'm wearing a different hat. At one side, I'm the faculty member at Geography Department, but I also create my startup company as the CEO of the company. So I'm reaching out to both academic discipline and also the commercial business world. Yeah, I hope I do learn a lot from my startup company experience in the last few months. So I will also want to share this information with you today. So let's go to the first one. I want to acknowledge the project funded by the National Science Foundation. So we start to research this pattern since almost like 5 years ago, in the 2009 and the 2010. And in 2010, we got this generous funding from the National Science Foundation, emphasizing on the mapping the idea from real cyberspace to real space. And this is our project team. And we really had a course discipline, one of the faculty member from the political science, from the computational linguistics, from the communication series, and with a wonderful student. So I think I just want to make sure they are acknowledged. And the project, we do have a website. If you could go to the website, you can see more information. But in general, the idea of the project is trying to see, can we mapping the invisible human being thinking, your idea, your concept. Because traditionally, when you think about using GIS, we are mapping the physical world, street, building. But with the social media, with your mobile phone, you can start to disseminate your thinking in those tiny devices. And those things can be collected. So we have a great opportunity today, because the cell phone, because the mobile device, we will be able to try to visualizing the spread of information from human-generated message. So that is the concept. How can we map the idea in our digital earth? Can we create a new method to help analyzing the social activity and human communications, and to reveal the invisible world? So that is the idea when we started the project in 2010. At that time, we didn't realize that this is big data. We still think about this, analyzing the human activity, but then later on, we realized this one. Yeah, so the idea for create this methodology to monitor the spread of information that occupied Wall Street, uprising the Arabic Springs. Those social movements, they're all using the social media, Twitter, Facebook, to disseminate information. How can we track in this information? So we want to create something kind of social radar to detecting those events, to highlight where is the hotspot. Is the social storm coming? There's a protest is coming. What is the dynamic change? Along with the time, there's an Occupy Wall Street spread out through the whole U.S. Is any Occupy Redlands happened here? Probably yes, right? How did they spread out? Yeah. So this information is that we try to understand. So originally the project focused on the social movements, also terrorism, Al-Qaeda, Jihad, how these radical groups recruit their members in cyberspace. We also emphasizing on the epidemiology, disease outbreak, and also natural disaster. But on the other side, when we're doing those research, we find out that there's a great commercial value embedded with analyzing those human message. We're analyzing, one of the slides I'm going to tell you is, we're analyzing the movie, the summer box office movie, daily box office movie associated, related to the tweets and ancient movies that have very highly correlated relationships. So that because that concept, we create this company called PathGeo just a few months ago. So the company is incorporated on February 1st, so just a few months. But the idea is we use GIS, try to provide a geo-targeting real-time impact tool for the business application, like marketing, reputation management, or the resource management. Yeah. So we have some team members derived on the projects. So today, I'd like to highlight all this research and the company emphasizing on the big data. But what exactly is big data? And a lot of you, how many of you have seen this diagram? This is a very popular one. Yes. So some people think this is a big data. So traditional, the general public, the concept is the big data is big, right? So the volume is big. Because it's so big, so the traditional software and tool cannot analyzing those big volume of data. So I highlight that there's a big volume of data. There's so many different types of data, variety of data, and also the velocity, the generation, the speed, very quickly. And the big data also has a great commercial value on the different industry, like the retail, consulting, then the food product. In the public health, they have billions of dollars potential using the public health record, medical record. So there's a lot of research emphasizing that. But my question is this really the big data? When we talk about big data, is really because the size matters? Well, I would argue that size, the volume, is not the criteria to become a big data. So people rush into the field. A lot of companies, IBM, Microsoft, and then Google, they all have a dedicated team to working on the big data right now. Not only the industry, scientific research, the institute like NIH, they just announced the Big Data Research Center call for proposal. They were announcing $24 million per year to ask for Big Data Research Center. The National Science Foundation also has similar initiative. The Obama administration, last year, they also had a Big Data Initiative. So both the industry, the government agency, and the research community, they're all jumping to this big data. It's like it reminds me that gold mining, golden opportunity, right? So how many of you would like to try to big data? Yeah, some of you, right? So, but think about back to hundreds of years ago, when we have this California gold rush. A lot of people rush into the California, right here, somewhere. How many of them become a millionaire? A lot of them, yeah, but not everybody, right? So we have to be very careful when you jump into the big data. You are not guaranteed to get a reward because there's a lot of errors, there's a lot of trash, there's a lot of pitfall. Yeah. So how we can provide a systematic way to analyze the data is really to retrieve the value, the goal from the big pile of dirt. That is a very challenging question. So what I will argue is that big data is a hype. It's a big data on the scientific research is a paradigm shift, or for the business aspect is an opportunity to provide a business strategy, business insight. Or actually for our society, it may create a very serious problem like privacy. I'm going to highlight the privacy problem later on. And then think about the dot-com bubble in the 1990s. Is that similar strategy? I think when you go to the Silicon Valley, a lot of the startup companies is working on the big data. It's exactly like the 1990s dot-com bubble. Yeah. So this idea, when we talk about big data volume, the size, the velocity, variety, I will provide a different perspective today to you to how we define the big data. So here is my definition, and I'm going to highlight. In my research, we conclude that there's 6 unique characteristic of big data, which I think is the really value of big data research. So this is my own definition from the geographical information science perspective. The first important concept of big data is linked data. The value of big data is not about the volume, it's about the linkage. When you have a social media, you post not just text, you connect with a picture, movie, you have your network, you have followers. So your medical record, your cell phone number has an attachment to analyzing your income, analyzing your credit card. So all the data are linkage. The linkage is the value of big data. The second, the big data should be dynamic. The dynamic is not just changing the data, but the big data, analyzing the big data, you have to be very careful. Because today, when you analyze the big data you collect today, the meaning is quite different between the data you collect next month or next year. Think about the term, 99%. When I talk about some people mention 99% in their social media. What's your thinking? They must talk about some social movement, right? The Occupy Wall Street. But the same term, 99%, 10 years ago, is that associated with the same meaning? No. Because we as a human being, we invent new terms. We invent the new usage. So the big data is like a moving target. We have to be careful. The terminology is changing over time and also over place. And the big data also is non-structured and hybrid format. So this is also very important when you analyze the big data. A lot of people like using the traditional way we create a database. Anyone learn the database design? Yes, we remember the first one, relational database. We don't have a normalization, right? Column field. That doesn't apply to big data because the human message is different. It's unstructured. So that's why the new database manager is moving from the SQL to the non-SQL and also to the MongoDB. I will talk about later on. And also, number 4 is also very important. Big data has so many noise. It's not like traditional data. And sometimes in my research, the noise or error can over 60%. That means majority of your data collect is garbage. Does that mean your data is useless? No. If you have a filter, you have the way to mining the data, you may be able to retrieve the gold from this big error. But you have to be very careful. But this is different from the traditional scientific research. When we do the traditional scientific analysis, if your data has a 10% error, you will be panicked. But in the big data, we tolerate big error, but we find out how do we improve that? How do we get the really value of the meaning? The number 5 is big data is a human center. Every big data is deal with a human. If you deal with the weather information, you deal with like a satellite, or that is not big data because big data is human centered, human created, and explained by human being. So that means when we analyze the big data, it's very subjective. There's no objective big data research because you are talking to the human value. The human value is changing all the time. And that also triggers a very important problem with privacy. So this is the biggest problem in my mind, concern about the big data use. But on the bright side, big data also very insightful and valuable. A lot of businesses start to adopt big data because it's not only providing analysis, it's shifting from the analysis to the analytics, giving you the guidance for the business inside real-time feedback. Change your strategy. So that is the 4 major, the 6 major characteristics. So if you think about this characteristic, I think social media is one of the very good criteria we can qualify as a big data. Is social media the big data? Is social media dynamic? Is social media human-centered? But on the other hand, traditional, when we talk about the census data, there's a millions of records. But are they dynamic? Are they linked? Are they human-centered? Well, some people think census data is human-centered. So some people would categorize census data as a big data, but some will say no. Yeah. So my argument here is that big data is not just because big. I was not very happy when I see this cover from the Nature journal. It said big data size in the petabyte area. That size petabyte doesn't matter. What does matter is how complicated this data can be retrieved, can be linked, can be analysis. So a lot of time people will argue that even you have a very tiny, small amount of, we call it small data, as long as they are linked, dynamic, non-structured, human-centered, they are equally important as a big data. Yeah, so this is a little bit different from the traditional discussion about big data. So when we talk about big data, one of my areas emphasizing is the social web. So a lot of people also define the different terms of social web. But in my own definition, I categorize social web to combine the social media and the World Wide Web, the web page. And there's other big data resources like serial phone data, medical record, GPS. They are all related to human. They are all dynamic. They are all linked. Yeah. So the social web with the social media web page is created by the people, used by the people, and shared by the people in cyberspace. So that's why I start to think about there's a systematic framework we can apply to analyzing those information, the relationship in the cyberspace, or in the social web, or in the big data. So the term I'm using is called the non-discovery in cyberspace, so KDC. I kind of steal the idea from the computer science. How many of you heard about this KDD in the computer science? Yeah, if you are the computer science major, you know that this is a very popular domain, knowledge discovery in database. But the difference between the database and the cyberspace is database is structured. They are not dynamic. They are not linked. But the cyberspace is dynamic, linked, and unstructured. So we have a new challenge. How can we handle this very large information and human message create in the cyberspace and social media? So that is the idea. And some of my research framework has been published on a few journals. So this is one of the journals, Cartography and GIS. I have a co-editor, a special issue called the Mapping Cyberspace and Social Media. Yeah, this one is a free, open to download. You can go to the website and download this page. Another one is using the social media to analyzing presidential election. This is another article published recently. Yeah, so both articles, yeah, if you are interested, you can go there to download. So this is the conceptual framework I'm proposing. When you're analyzing the social media, social web, or big data, you have to think about this triangle relationships: place, time, and message. So the message, traditional people are only deal with the message. When we collect the big data, human activity, Tweets, Facebook, pictures, you need to know when they create this social media. What is the time? You need to compare. Today, tomorrow, you need to compare different week, 2010, 2011, 2005. So temporal change, either you create a snapshot or create a serial change, you need to think about that. And also place. The place is not just X, Y coordinate. Different human beings have a different meaning of place. New York is different than San Diego. But as a geographer, when we talk about a place, it's very complicated. For example, when we talk about Redlands, are you talking about the University of Redlands or the city of Redlands? When we talk about San Diego, the San Diego is my hometown or my kids' hometown or my visiting place. That context will have a different meaning, depending how you interpreting, explain the message you get from this big data. So all these three triangle: place, time, and message is I call it triangular multi-based, human-centered, and interdependent. everything is related to each other. It's also linked. Yeah. So with these frameworks, let's give you an example. So think about these 6 different criteria. The first one, I want to do a short demo about why the linked data is so important. Yeah. So we do design an API using the Twitter to collect the social media, the tweets, within the area. So before I came here, this Sunday, I'm using my tool to search the tweet content university within the 20-mile radius of Redlands in the US city. So you can see Redlands will create 20 miles. And we collect about like 200 tweets. You can see some of the tweets that watching my daughter volleyball, yeah, a much needed weekend embrace friends. Also, you learn at university party. I mean, so there's so these are the social media, the tweets. We collect not only the content, we collect when they create, who are the user, the location, sometimes they are even GPS. So I'm going to do a live demo to show you how we can use that. Yes. So right now I want to open the website. Let's see.
Is this just for people who have the geocode?
Yes. Yeah, we can collect both only the self-described or geocoded, but the one I'm going to show you is geocoded only. So now, so this is the software. Yes. So this is the software developed by my company. So what we do is visualization easily for the social media data. So you can see I'm importing the file. So this is the original file in Excel, just one like you saw before. But what we did is we convert the geocoding and just map on the map immediately. So now we are not only see the text, we see the location with the GPS location. So you can see within the 200 tweets, only 61 has a geolocation. Okay, so interesting is, although this 61 is not a big number, right? There's only 7 days within the keyword. But we have these key map functions. So when we create a key maps, you may want to tell me that, does this key map indicate something? What's this location? This is near the red. Right? And then this one is, yeah, so there's a different locations. So actually, even just the 61 data, we can start identifying the location of the university in the nearby. Just using the cloud map and the key map. Yes. So I didn't do anything. I just collect data and I can already identify how many universities in Redlands within the 3 months. But more interesting is if we turn on the marker and I zoom to the University of Redlands. Yeah. So you can see on the bottom, this is actually table, and then this is the tweets. So when I click on this tweet, let's say faculty are shown, but there's a link, right? So that's the value of tweet data, the link. So when I click on the link, I can see what they are talking about. So anyone went to that faculty are shown? Jim? Nobody? Okay. So I can, I was in the I can physically see what I put inside the University of Redlands. I can not only see this one, I can switch to another one. It's my favorite guy. So what is the picture they are talking about? So we start to concern those information is connected, linked, but also reveal a lot of privacy concerns. Right? So I can show you. I don't know why there are so many tweets in here. Anyone know the location of this area? What? Yeah. So
you have a time dependency on the streets too?
Yeah. right here. This is the tweet they post. Yeah, and then you can see this is last night at a good time. And then, oh, very nice. So I know the student in Redlands very enjoy their college life. Yeah. So you can see this is the value. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the value of big data. Big data is not just a text. It's actually the hyperlink. Show those pictures. Also the locations. So that's a very important concept.
So these are the tweets where people actually give a consent to make that data public, correct?
Well, when you sign up with the tweets, you pretty much give everything. Give everything.
But by default. But
by default,
I can go back and change the settings.
Yes, you could.
Be able to see this, right?
Yeah, you can change your message to the private message or public message. But the default is public message.
So when you get the API from Twitter, they're actually giving you the names too?
I guess intelligent market is scary, I know. Yes. Yeah, so you can see we can identify the location of the university. I can see the individual, also the privacy. Yeah. But also, for the business perspective, those social media give you a dynamic information, tell you what happened, changing over time and place. This is the example we use the two keywords. For Fusion, for Escape, to collect last year during the December in the top 30 US city. And when we collect those numbers, the number is not big, 100 tweets, but we do see the pipe on one specific date. And we realizing that during that day, they announced there's software bug, there's a recall. So that reason created intention. So think about this could be create an early warning system. Let's say if we analyze, everybody mentioned about their Toyota Camry. If the New York City, there's 100 people say, my brake is not working today. Is that the signal? Right? For the business perspective, if you are the dealer of the Toyota, then you have to be careful because maybe there's a whole malfunction in the area. So we collect the feedback and convert it into the temporal change, detecting something unusual happening. But also, we can also, on the marketing perspective, you can see how the people's preference. What did you like your car? What kind of cover could be? Last year, we also do the two keywords analyzing the social media Prius and Volt. So we just analyze the keyword. We didn't do any sentiment analysis like a good or bad or like or dislike. Just by the volume. You see, in California, which one is more popular? Prius or Volt? Prius. Yeah, because much more people talk about Prius than Volt. But in Michigan, Detroit, the Volt is much popular. Discussion. If this discussion will reflect to the actual marketing sale, I don't know. If we have some retailer data, we can verify. We can correlate it. Yeah. So you do see that every city has different pattern. So when we analyze the social media, we have to be very careful, not put everything into the single US. Every state has a different pattern. So that's why the big data is changing over time and over place. So we can see this also, we can analyze a single city, what's the attention between the Volt and Prius. From week 1, week 2, if you have a marketing campaign, if you put $1 million in San Diego, you need to see a pipe on the next few days if you spend that. If you don't see that, that means your marketing is not very successful. So this is not only kind of marketing feedback, it can also be used for marketing assessment. How successful your campaign to create the buzz, the hype in the social media, in the business, the customer conversation. We also can link the information to the weather. Like if you are relocating the sale, so the linkage is not only the hyperlink to the multimedia, but linkage can also link to other information, census data, weather information, and also link to other people. Yeah, how many people follow you? How many people you follow? And this is an example we are analyzing the presidential campaign last year. And then you can see this is the Obama Twitter account. This is the Mitt Romney Twitter account. And those blue line, this means that person is a pro-Obama. And the red line, that means that person is a pro-Romney. But when you see this one, you can see this, we kind of, the Romney is very close to Sarah Palin, Fox News. But when you see the line here, you find out that for the Mitt Romney, majority line is red. There's only one blue line, which means if you are Republican, you are not following Romney at all. You don't care. But Obama, you can see not only the blue line, they adopt the red line. That means if you are the Republican, you do want to monitor what Obama is saying, just by analyzing the network. Yeah. So here's another one I would also like. If you go to LinkedIn, you can actually create these maps in the LinkedIn about your maps. So this is my map, my social network. You can see this network is my startup company, all my relevant, like the customer or the employee. And this is my university school. And here's my other research component. So you can using those social network connections to analyzing those patterns. Yeah. So the next one is the big data is non-structured because it's created by human beings. We are not trained as a structured information message. Yeah. So a lot of it, when you design a tool or software, you have to use those new things like JSON. Hey, how many of you use JSON? Yeah. So JSON is a very good example. Yeah, incorporate MongoDB. Yeah. So those NoSQL database is best for analyzing those big data, which is generated by human beings. Yeah, or text-based. So you can see that social media, big data has a different variety of formats. While the web page, while Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, every single different type of social media has different content. And how do we integrate them together? How do we create a linkage, combine? So that is also the very big challenge in the big data research. So I want to show you just two examples. We are working on the big data. One is we're using the big web search result. We're using the Google and Yahoo to search the keyword and retrieve up to 100 or 1,000 results on the keyword. And we also try to find out the coordinate, but not by the content, by the servers. I want to see what is the relation between the server and actually the keyword. And this is the social media. So these are the two different channels. But when we comparing this social media versus web page, anyone can tell me what is the major differences between these two, web page and social media?
Social media, like we can more network with people.
Yeah, I think social media is more personal. Yeah, everybody can create tweets, publish. But if you want to create a web page on the top of the Google search engine, it's very difficult. It is more public domain. It's more like a public message. Yeah. So that's the two differences. But this one, web page, it can also be used for the online reputation management. You can Google, how many of you try using your name? Try to Google, what's your top 10 result of your name? Right? Everybody do that. So what we do is we provide a visualization about your location. So this is a tool we developed. You can type in the tool, select the engines, and get 100 or 1,000 tweets. So I did one study using Professor Tsou's name. And this is the top 100 on the Google search. And the first one is your webpage on the University of Redlands. But I don't know if you have a new CD. And I also recognize maybe a lot of the message is not associated with you. Yeah. But what we can do is we can also visualize that. So let me do another using the same tool I was using before. So now let's change to the different file. So yeah, by the way, I also do the Professor Jenkins. Yeah. So, but I think this one is Okay, so when we map it, this is your map on the internet. So you can see the majority is the US and the some Europe and the large and some are India. So when we zoom in, yeah, so you can see individually, oops, and if you open the table, you will see the ranking. The top one is actually in the university website, right? So this is your university website. This is another linkage. But where is this one? Is it located in Redlands? Well, it's close. Yeah, but why is it not in the center of Redlands? Because they're using the server location. When your university, they register the server, somehow they register on the middle of nowhere. Yeah, but you can see every link yeah, this is another one. So there's so many. Yes, yeah. So you can see all your Google search results from number 1 to number 100. And all these linkage, what they are talking about. Yeah. And then what's their server locations. Yeah. So you can create this map visualizing your information. Yeah. So in California, actually in some, in different locations. So this is another example of big data. I think this kind of thing also be very useful for a lot of SEO, search engine optimization research. Yeah. So in addition to the analyzing the big data, we collect a lot of the text. The one of the easy way is we create this word cloud. Easy to create a snapshot of a linear direction, what most people are talking about. Anyone know the problem with our San Diego mayor, right? Yeah. And Bob Miller, it's a tragedy. Yeah. But during that time, you can actually see that we're using this keyword. But the good thing is that his last name is very unique. So you are not getting error message. We're using the last name to do the search. So we're using his last name to search the tweet. Before the scandal news breakout, there's only inside the San Diego, we create inside, there's only 42 mentioned about the bot filter. All this finance or San Diego, nothing serious. But after the scandal news breakout, the next day it jumped from 42 to 700 and to the 1,900. And you do see that the major keyword resign, sexual harassment, ask, news. So you do get a snapshot. What happened? Yeah.
It's actually, it is very highly correlated with the media too, right? The
yes.
media is actually creating
Yes.
So that's interesting.
So, but we do comparing between the web page and the social media. There are still some differences. The social media is more personal message. Yeah. But you can see this is we're analyzing the trend, the discussion intensity, starting from the 41 at beginning before the news breakout. You do see that one peak is this one, 3,000. Yeah. So if you are the political campaign manager, you probably would tell him at this time you need to resign because there's so many pressure on the public. But if you are working for the mayor, if you are comparing your competitor, this information will be very useful for the political campaign. Yeah. So the number 4 item, the problem with big data is it has so many error messages and noises. As I mentioned, over 60%. This is not great as we do the research on the project. Last year, we're analyzing the keyword flu and influenza, comparing to the number of the tweets with the flu keyword to the ILI ratio. Anyone heard about ILI? ILI stands for influenza-like illness. It's an official record from the hospital and clinic to indicate the level of flu case. So CDC announced that every week. But the problem for that is they announce that only after 2 or 3 weeks delay. So we do the comparison between this weekly, and we find out some city has a very good correlation, 0.75. Some city has very bad. So we really still try to refine our algorithm. But when we're analyzing those information, We also try to use another keyword, cold, C-O-L-D, and we end up just abandoning that keyword. Why? There are so many noises in code. Yeah, I feel so cold. The weather is cold. Sometimes, but if you combine the cold and the whooping fever or sore throat, that may be also improvement. So the linguistic part is very challenging on analyzing the social media. So here's another problem on geolocation. Remember I showed you that when we collect those Google information, we are converting using the server into the location. But we also realizing that those server location is not 100% correct. A lot of time the server location only has 35% correct. That means that all the 100 data, there are 65% data geolocation is incorrect. But does that mean we cannot use the data? We try to use this data with only 35% to create this map, show how the web density associated with Obama versus Romney. But when we see this map, it did tell us something meaningful, even with only 35% accuracy of a location. In this case, red color indicate, reverse. This is wrong. The red color is Romney. Blue color is Obama. So red color is Romney, right? So anyone location know this city? Salt Lake City. So which candidate should be highlighted? Romney. And this one? Chicago. And which candidate will be advantage? Obama. So it did show meaningful pattern, even with a 35% accuracy only. So there's another issue we can think about that. Here's another one, we analyzing those tweets on the trajectory and change in the election. So you can see in this case we got a lot of huge number. This number is collected from the 30 top US city before the campaign, before the election, every single day. So you can see as before October 25, the ratio between Obama and Romney, they just simply count the number. It's very close. But somehow Romney almost over Obama. But on 30 and November 1st, there's a huge gap. Anyone remember what happened during this day? Hurricane Sandy. So it created a huge gap. So this one is very corresponding to the real opinion pool. But I didn't use any opinion pool. I only collected tweet data on the US city. And it's only cost me one graduate student about 3 hours to create this one. It's much cheaper than you spend hundreds of millions of dollars to call everybody, what is your opinion? When we use the API, write it very quickly, cost effective, efficient. And the result is meaningful. And this one is we collected in one city in Florida, Jacksonville. Guess what happened before the election? The number we got is 50% versus 50%. And that is exactly the outcome of Florida. And then you can also compare the information between the different cities. Before the Hurricane Sandy, you see the red color is kind of prevailing. But after Hurricane Sandy, you see that everything is changing. The biggest change is that East Coast. West Coast is similar, it's not changed too much, but you can see the bigger size is mean more trees. Yeah. So you can see the pattern. Yeah. So finally, the big data is human-centered, human-created. And also when I prepared the slide on Sunday, I tried to find a business value for it, so I used iPad. How many of you have iPad? Okay, so you love your iPad, right? So I want to see how people talk about iPad. So I clicked search iPad in the Redlands. I found out very interesting tweets. So I cannot resist to post it. Then one tweet says, this beautiful girl, he said, post the tweets about iPad. But it's not about how you use the iPad. He basically loves his iPad more than me. And this is his boyfriend. But not only that, because I only search for geotrees. So actually, I can pinch down the location of her boyfriend's house. Is that scary? Very scary. Yeah. So I have to be careful. Yeah. And then, so when we do the big data search, we have to be very, very careful. A lot of analysis, my argument is very subjective. And then it's almost impossible to create an objective analysis. Because when you analyze the big data, how did you select different spatial unit and time unit? The different selection will has impact on your result. Here's an example we're using the social media, allow the frequency of tweets for the flu. You can see they do have the daily pattern. If you analyze the correlation from the daily, it will be very bad. But if you combine that into the weekly associated with the ILI, it's not too bad. Right? So it depends how you aggregate your data. But also think about the reason for this one is very good is because the last one is a huge pie and a huge pie IOI. If we only analyzing the data 2 weeks before, the correlation will be terrible. And that exactly happened. You know, last year in 2003, 2002, when we analyzing the correlation between the flu, tweets, and IOI, the first 3 months, every city correlation is like a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. I think we are in a big trouble. But we are so lucky because last year, the biggest flu season outbreak in the last 10 years. So we have this huge pike, and then people talk about huge. So our correlation jumped from 0.25 to 0.75 to 0.82. Yeah, so it's really subjective. Yeah, and also there's another association with human. We in the company, startup company, we have a collaboration with our football team. So we try to find out how many people follow their tweets. We have another different tweets account, Go Aspect, News Team, but we can combine to see what is the most influential people within the community. Yeah. The good thing is when you analyze the tweets, you can get the number of followers of individual. So you know when we combine that, who is the biggest influential person in our community as San Diego State? This guy. Arnold Schwarzenegger is our former mayor. He has a follower, 284,000 followers. Big fan, but he only posts 2,000. So he's very not often posting his message. And so you can identify those big influential people. The more followers, their influential is bigger. But it also depends how many posts they message. But also, we can map it, convert all the followers. There's a 6,000 followers, go ask them. Where are they located? And you can see it all over the U.S., but the concentration it is in San Diego, Southern California, and the San Jose area. Yeah, so we can using the GIS, analyzing that. And also, who are the most chatted, who are the most active people to talk. This is the person talking about the figure. Yeah, if I'm running a campaign, I need to talk to this guy. Because he or she is talking about my vaccine all the time. Yeah. So, and also these people, they also have GPS coordinate. And we can map it into the location. Yeah, so we know where are the people are actually talking about your information or the campaign. Yeah, so the idea is this social media can create a communication channel. When we do the marketing, we do think about this diffusion and innovation. How do we disseminate the new idea, new concept? Yeah, so there's a lot of potential to think about apply the social media into this domain. Yeah, we can also analyze the campaign, like how many followers lose this campaign, or how many followers add it back. Yeah, so this one interesting thing is when we do this analysis for our football team, you see this week, by the 150 people added as a new follower, only 38 canceled the following. So that means the net gain is 112. It's very, very light. But in reality, because everybody has different weight. Some people have small potato, some people is big potato. So we come adding their follower, we find out that sometimes the follower maybe have a bigger influence and disconnected. This could be become negative. So we have to think about different aspects. Yeah, so you can see this is actually exactly how many people follow and how many people remove. Yeah, and also we can analyze the behavior, like different Twitter pattern. How often did you tweet? When is the most popular time to tweet? Morning or afternoon? And then when you want to using the social media to the business marketing channel, you want to know when they check their social media. So you can see the temporal pattern between the different topics. We can also see which weekday has the most popular activity. And we found out on Sunday, a lot of people don't want to tweet on Sunday. On the Tuesday and Thursday is a higher percentage activity. So you can understand the behavior of those users. And also this is the time, on the time. And this actually, on the week 4, you see the majority tweet is between the 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. on Saturday. Anyone can guess the reason? Because that's the football game. The first hashtag football game on Saturday, October 31st, between that time. Yeah. So finally, the big data is insightful, valuable, provide those data and the values. So I want to give you a few ideas, a few examples. The one I mentioned about the movie. So we do the correlation last summer about these 5 different movies, tag Spider-Man, Ice Age, and we comparing the daily tweets versus daily box revenue. And you see this correlation is very, very good. What we don't know is because people tweet it and then go to see the movie, or when they see the movie, come back and tweet. So we don't know the whole casual the effect. But we do know that this is a very correlated. Is this will be a good business analytics? How many campaign of money you put on each movie, the advertisement, before you announce? The good thing for the tweets is the box office data is only collected after you release. But the social media, the tweets, we can get the data before you even release the movie. So if there's some pattern here, maybe indicate it will be a successful movie or not very successful movie. Then you can change your business strategy depending on how many money you want to invest on the advertising. Yeah. So there's a lot of potential using this area. And also the area different. You can see the tag. Anyone see the movie Tag? No? It's a very popular movie. Tag Bear, yes. But you can see that Boston has a major big fan. Yeah. So if you want to do the campaign, you probably don't need to put out Boston. They're already very popular. So the spatial variation also be usable for your business decision. Here's another analysis we did for the football team. We're analyzing the social media count with the actually football game ticket sale every day. They have an online tracking system. How many days they sell. So we do see a good correlation between that. But we also need to do further analysis. How do we increase the sale? By promoting the social media or different channels. Yeah. So in general, those web analytics can help you to do the campaign assessment, can help you identify the new customer, can help you manage the online reputation, predict the behaviors. So last item I want to talk about is my experience about my startup company. How many of you have create your own company? Yeah, okay, there's a few of them. Yeah, you know it's very challenging. It's probably the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life. But it's so fun, it's so interesting. Yeah, we learn everything, new thing every day, new challenge every day, a lot of new technology or new concept of business model generation. Everyone sees this through the startup menu. My favorite books, yeah, I read every day. And I create this canvas. And this is my team. I call it alpha team at the PathGeo. Yeah, everybody looks so nice, like it's so harmony. But in reality, it's like this one. That's the reality. So a lot of things can drive you crazy. Yeah, it drives you nuts. Yeah. But it's a fun experiences. Yeah. So the company emphasizing on the geo-targeting using GIS to analyze the social media. Yeah, we do a lot of consulting services. We also try to develop software and services product. So we are still trying to explore our business model. Yeah. But before I conclude my talk, I will say that the big data is a very interesting topic. I will say it has a tremendous business value. It depends how we analyzing that. Yeah. But we need to know what is a distortion and the cartographer also. And see, when you do the map projection, you distort the reality. But if you know the parameter, you can trace back and predict the real what really happened in the real world. But finally, the final thing is talk about the privacy. As I mentioned, the big data is big brother. My company is watching you, watching your tweets, watching your social media. How can we find a balance between commercial value or research value versus privacy? That is also the very big challenge we need to fix up. This is one example I can say. How many of you use Google Street View? Yeah, a lot, but how did you use that? Did you use to pick your neighborhood backyard? This is my neighborhood backyard. I don't know they have a ping pong table, but with the Google Street View, we do. This is my house. It seems like an okay location, right? But does this picture tell you when they take this picture? Can you tell? There's a Santa Claus. So they taking the picture during the Christmas time. So the picture actually reveals not only location and time, spatial, temporal information. So we have to be very careful when we connect those data together. There's a lot of information will be revealed. So that will conclude my today's presentation, and thank you so much for listening.